What's going on, folks? Zach from Uchu Shelf here. Today, I want to talk to you about a brand new manga that just came out that I can relate to on a very deep interpersonal level. Something that I relate to spiritually, something that I hold very deep to my heart, and that's motherhood. Now, as a young single mother, as I'm sure you guys can tell, I am always interested about stories where mothers are very loving, they're very nurturing, and they are very protective of their children. And Shuzo Oshimi's Blood on the Tracks is the complete opposite of what I just described. So, bamboozled you there. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, for those of you out there who do watch my videos, you probably have heard me talk about Shuzo Oshimi a few times. For those of you who haven't heard of him, he creates some of the best dark and harrowing psychological tales of some aspects of humanity that are rarely touched upon in fiction. With such hits as Happiness and Flowers of Evil under his belt, Shuzo Oshimi has cemented himself as a very talented mangaka, with a style that flawlessly switches between carefully meticulous and beautifully chaotic. And of course, his newest work, Blood on the Tracks, is no exception. Blood on the Tracks follows a young high schooler by the name of Sei. Sei is very much your average high schooler. He's very much into video games, he has a crush on one of the more popular, more beautiful girls in his class, but one thing that sets him apart from all the other kids in his class and the kids in his family is that he has a very overprotective and overbearing mom. Now, admittedly, it does kind of seem like his mom is just a little bit pushy and overbearing. You know, she wants him to get good grades, wants to make sure he's eating right. She does seem like she's a little bit controlling as the story progresses, but that's really, up to interpretation. However, the nature of the relationship and how she is as a mother really does kind of come to light when his cousin comes to visit. His cousin and his aunt come to visit, and they're upstairs playing video games, and he looks at him and he says, Sei, your parents are pretty overprotective. And he's just like, what are you talking about? And he reminds him of all the overprotective things that his mother has done. So for example, back in kindergarten, she would go to school with him every single day and stand at the back of the class. Now, he of course defends it by saying something that I can only imagine his mother has repeated to him time and time again. It was something along the lines of, I cried a lot, she just wanted to make sure I was okay. But then you kind of clue into the fact that his mother really has no respect for Sei's boundaries, and actually probably doesn't understand boundaries between a mother and son to begin with. Because there's a couple instances where she says, can I hold you for a little bit? And she's like gently caressing his face, which doesn't seem very weird off the cuff, but the way she just kind of does it, it's just very unsettling and weird. Now, even with that, I can kind of argue that Sei's mom is just a general overbearing mother. She probably has the best of intentions. Maybe she's a little bit too affectionate with her son and doesn't really want to let go of the fact that her baby is growing up. However, this would only be true if it were literally any other mangaka. As is standard with Shuzo Oshimi's manga, the story in Blood on the Tracks takes a quick, sharp turn off of a cliff, quite literally, actually, in displaying both the mental state and the motherly nature of Sei's mother, Seiko. What seems like a really fly-on-the-wall story about a mother coming to terms with an empty nest, her son is getting older, he doesn't obviously want to spend all of his time with his mother, he wants to go do things with friends, he doesn't always want to be home. Her husband is always at work, he's a workaholic, he works X number of hours a week, so she has the house to herself quite a bit. She's obviously feeling a little bit lonely. But as quick as it was to explore that, it shifts tones almost immediately, without warning. The entire nature of the story and the relationship between the characters, especially Sei and his mother, just had a complete tonal shift in the matter of pages. Now, the way this was executed was flawless. It was so flawless that it was actually really haunting and disturbing. Like, it's one of the things that when you start adding things up that happened in the beginning of the manga up until this point, you're like, yeah, that makes sense, I can see how that happened, and you definitely don't even want that to happen. Now, admittedly, this story has a very leisurely pace. It has the pacing of a stereotypical lazy summer day, where you kind of do absolutely nothing all day, you're not really paying attention, life is passing you by, but then the end of summer comes, and as you're reflecting on it, you're like, wow, yeah, a lot did happen this summer. Now, one thing I do have to praise specifically about Shuzo Oshimi's Blood on the Tracks is Oshimi's visual depiction of panic. Without spoiling exactly what happens, the shifting point of the manga sends Sei into this panic spiral that is depicted as this kind of devolution from really careful and planned out line work to something that is discordant and scribbled. It's just beautiful. Like, it's honestly the best depiction of panic I've ever seen. I am, to get a bit personal here for a second, I'm someone who suffers from panic attacks, so to see that so perfectly and effortlessly just displayed, it was just kind of like a light switch in my brain. It's like, yeah, that is exactly how it feels, so the way he got that was just spot on. The main takeaway is that Volume 1 of Blood on the Tracks is absolutely a way to set up the remainder of the story. The way that we get introduced to the characters, the way we actually get to see what exactly is up with his mother. We don't entirely know what the full story is, but there is something more to it, something more at play. than her just being overbearing and overprotective. There is something psychologically wrong with her. And the reason I say this is because after the turning point in the manga, she is seen there, she's just on the floor, she's slumped over, and she's talking to herself, she's muttering to herself, and the only way she gets kind of pulled back into reality is when Sei is like, Mom, like, what the hell do we do now? I actually read it twice because I actually do genuinely enjoy a lot of Shuzo Oshimi's work, and I wanted to go through this with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that I didn't actually miss anything. And even knowing what happens at the end of the manga, there was just this constant, consistent, heavy atmosphere that seemed to thrive in the unsettling. Like, it was just genuinely the most harrowing, hollow story. Now, it does admittedly leave a bit of a pit in your stomach because, you know, seeing what happens at the end of the manga, you're like, well, it can't get any worse. And then you kind of think of Shuzo Oshimi and the stories he's already told, and you're like, yeah, it's only going to get worse. I think it'll be really interesting to see how the relationship between Sei and his mother evolves over the next couple of volumes. Because now that there's this entirely new dimension added to the relationship, I think Sei's mom is going to become a lot more overbearing and protective. I mean, I can guarantee that's going to happen. But she's not going to be doing it out of love like she has been up until this point. She's going to be doing it, one, to protect him, or what she perceives as protecting him, but also to kind of protect their secret. When I say it's going to be interesting, I don't mean it's going to be like, wow, this is entertaining. It's going to be interesting from a purely morbid perspective, just to see how she navigates their relationship going forward, and exactly what she does to make sure that Sei essentially stays in line, because she's going to have to treat him so well and so nicely, but she's going to do it in a way that really works to her agenda. And even while she may be doing it out of love, that's not her priority anymore. Now, for those of you who've watched my channel and have watched my reviews, you know that I don't do a rating system. I don't do the whole 1 to 5, 1 to 10, A to F, or whatever. But I am going to start doing this. I'm going to either say it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So I'm going to either recommend it or tell you to just completely avoid it. Now, I'm not going to do this, of course, with, you know, my real thumbs. I'm going to do it with graphics. Look at that. Look at that graphic. But anyway, Shuzo Oshimi's Blood on the Tracks, released in the West by Vertical, I 100% recommend. If you're looking for a very dark and psychological tale that is a bit of a slow burn, but is definitely 100% going to pay off, you can look no further than anything by Shuzo Oshimi. And of course, Blood on the Tracks does it beautifully and is no exception. So there you have it, my review of Shuzo Oshimi's Blood on the Tracks Volume 1. You can pick this up now from Vertical Link. You can get it at any book and comics shop, online retailers such as Amazon, and anywhere else online or in the real world, as if we have to actually venture out there, God forbid, that sells manga. Now, of course, if you are new to the works of Shuzo Oshimi, I would recommend starting with Flowers of Evil, move on to Happiness immediately after that. But if you want to just pick up Blood on the Tracks without any prior knowledge as to what his work is like, enjoy. Anyways, folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Your support means a heck of a lot to me, and I have analytics, so I know which of you supports me. Please support the channel. And as always, don't forget to support legal manga. Go to www.wherecanireadmanga.com to get the lowdown on where you can read manga for free through a subscription or per volume. Do it all in a way that benefits the industry. But until next time, folks, happy reading.